My beloved brethren, most respected elders, mothers and sisters. So in the second year after Hijrah, so after the Prophet ﷺ migrated from Mecca to Medina, 2 years after that, Allah Rabbul Izzah blessed us with this gift of Ramadan. The month was existing long before that, but Allah Rabbul Izzah blessed us by making it compulsory upon us to fast the month of Ramadan. And what a blessing the fast is, and you know the ahadith with regards to it, and in this conference you will hear the Ahl al-Ilm and Ahl al-Fadl talk about it, but I wish to mention just one with you. The Prophet ﷺ informs us, "Man sama yawman fi sabilillah." Whoever fasts a single day in the path of Allah, either in the path of Allah or in the obedience of Allah. Man sama yawman fi sabilillah, ba'ad Allahu bidhalika al-yawm wajhahu 'anil nari 70 kharifan. Allah Rabbul Izzah moves the face of that person away from the fire a distance of 70 years. So for every single day that you fast, Allah Rabbul Izzah moves your face away from the fire of Jahannam. 70 kharifan, ay 70 ama, 70 years. And it is the mercy of Allah upon us that He Azza wa Jal decreed fasting upon us, because none of us would have ever fasted a full month had it not been the favor of Allah Rabbul Izzah that He ordained it upon us to fast a full month. So just one of the rewards of this fast, for every single day, imagine out of His infinite mercy and grace, Allah Rabbul Izzah moves your face away from the fire a distance of 70 years. So this blessing Allah Rabbul Izzah ordained upon us in the second year after Hijrah, where the verses came that fasting has been prescribed upon you as it was to the nations before you. Now an interesting thing happens, so just visualize. The Sahaba, it is their first month of fast. So you can imagine the Rasul is in Salah, Qiyam is there, Siyam is there, I'tikaf is there, company of the righteous are there, food and drink of iftar and suhoor are there. This is the environment that we know about Ramadan. But in the second year of Hijrah, in this month of Ramadan, on the 12th day in particular, something happened. The Prophet ﷺ was made to march out of the city in what would go down in history as the battle or campaign of Badr. So now the fast is there, the month of blessing is there, but the believers have been given another challenge, the challenge of having to face an adversary in the middle of the month of fasting. So they marched out, the Prophet ﷺ and the companions, and they marched out on the 12th of Ramadan. 12th they were marching, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th they arrived at the wells of Badr. On the 17th day was the confrontation. So they marched 150 kilometers. Think about it, dear ones. Difficulty. And the Rasul shared his camel with 2 others. So 3 people per 1 camel, covering a distance of 150 kilometers. Each person is required to walk 100 kilometers, and he gets to ride or mount for 50. So the Prophet ﷺ, with this blessed group of companions arrives in Badr, and the Sahaba say that our feet were blistered, our nails had fallen off, difficulty. And then this is all one level of difficulty. The next challenge is the worry, anxiety, stress of confrontation. You know, a normal person you argue with, you start to sweat, you know, your palms go wet, your hands move out, you breathe different, face goes red. The stresses and duresses of confrontation, and that's just a verbal one. These ones are required in the month of Ramadan to go out 150 kilometers and meet an adversary 3 times their size. But this is not an analysis of the campaign of Badr, but rather I want to highlight just one thing. The Muslims were given a challenge, a hurdle was placed in their path, a difficulty they had to overcome. And the rule in this religion is, as the difficulty increases, so does the reward. Remember, as the difficulty increases, as the challenges increases, so does the reward. So Allah Rabbul Izzah, for their difficulty, did a few things for them. I want to mention some of it with you. First of all, listen to this. Allah Rabbul Izzah tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِذْ تَقُولُ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَلَنْ يَكْفِيَكُمْ أَنْ يُمِدَّكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ بِثَلَاثَةِ آلَافٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُنْزَلِينَ. Wouldn't not be sufficient for you that Allah Rabbul Izzah send down 3,000 angels in support of you? And then Allah Rabbul Izzah says, بَلَى إِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا وَيَأْتُوكُم مِّن فَوْرِهِمْ هَذَا يُمْدِدْكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ بِخَمْسَةِ آلَافٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُسَوِّمِينَ وَمَا جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بُشْرَى لَكُمْ وَلِتَطْمَئِنَّ قُلُوبُكُمْ بِهِ وَمَا النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Allah Rabbul Izzah tells His Prophet in the middle of the campaign, tell the believers, would it not suffice you that Allah Rabbul Izzah sent for you 3,000 angels to stand by you, support you, aid you, honor you, protect you? And then Allah Rabbul Izzah, out of His infinite grace and mercy, increases it by another 5,000 and then gives the reason. وَمَا جَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بُشْرَى لَكُمْ. We give this to you as a glad tiding, as a happy news, because your hearts are stressed, you're under duress, you're under difficulty, maybe negative thoughts are going through your mind. Relax, take it easy, be of good cheer. Angels have come to support you. And then Allah Rabbul Izzah says, وَمَا النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. But victory is from me. I didn't need to send the angels. I have only sent them out of my kindness and favor and acknowledgement of you, so that your hearts could be reassured and that you could have happiness and that you could have reassurance. So dear ones, that was the Muslims that had to face an extra challenge in their Ramadan in Badr. So now 2020 Ramadan has come in an environment which seems that it will be our Ramadan in a pandemic, in a COVID-19 environment. And naturally you see around, people are stressed, worried, especially for the elderly and their families, that my father, my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother not be afflicted with this illness, so that they are not in isolation and they're not in quarantine and we can't even visit. And Allah forbid, if the qadr of Allah befall them and they die. It is even difficult to go to their graveyards and do the wajib there. So I am thinking, the Lord that gave the reassurance to the Muslims of Badr, do you think He would have forgotten to give you reassurance? You who are about to go through a difficulty in the same month of Ramadan. No, dear ones, listen, here's the glad tidings on the tongue of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam for me and you in this environment, in this Ramadan like no other. Listen to the qawl of our mother Aisha radiyallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala anha. She says, سألت الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الطاعون. I asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam with regards to pandemics. Pandemics in which excessive amount of people die. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam informed her, أنه كان عذابا يبعثه الله تعالى على من يشاء. These pandemics, these occurrences of viruses and diseases which used to kill multitudes, used to be a punishment that Allah Rabbul Izzah would punish whomsoever He chose. فَجَعَلَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى رَحْمَةً لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. But for this nation, Allah Rabbul Izzah changed it to a mercy for you.